Thank you, Chairman Corker, members of the committee. I appreciate the invitation to testify on U.S. policy on human rights in North Korea with my colleague, Ambassador Sung Kim. This is an issue on which there's broad consensus, bipartisan agreement. Both Congress and the administration are united in our efforts to press North Korea to improve its deplorable human rights record. The DPRK remains a totalitarian state, denies freedoms of expression, religion, peaceful assembly, association, and movement, as well as worker rights. Tens of thousands of North Koreans endure deplorable conditions in political prison camps, where government officials commit systematic and widespread human rights violations, including extrajudicial killing, forced labor, torture, prolonged arbitrary detention, rape, forced abortion, and other sexual violence. Mr. Chairman, since the release of the United Nations Commission on the United Nations Commission of Inquiry on Human Rights in North Korea in February of 2014, we've made significant progress in our efforts to focus international attention and pressure on North Korea. The UN Commission of Inquiry report concluded that, quote, systematic, widespread, and gross human rights violations have been and are being committed by North Korea and its officials. The report found a number of long-standing and ongoing patterns of systematic and widespread violations which meet the high threshold required for proof of crimes against humanity in international law. One of the most powerful elements of the report were the detailed testimony of North Korean refugees sharing firsthand accounts of abuse and violence that they suffered in their horrific experience in fleeing their homeland. This report was considered by the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva. A year ago, September, during the high-level session of the General Assembly, Secretary Kerry hosted a meeting on this issue with the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, the foreign ministers of South Korea, Japan, Australia, and other countries. And last fall, the UN General Assembly considered a resolution which welcomed the Commission of Inquiry report, criticized North Korea, and referred the report to the Security Council, urging the Council to consider holding to account those North Korean officials responsible for human rights violations, including through consideration of referral to the appropriate international criminal justice mechanism. In December last year, the Security Council held a serious 3-hour discussion of North Korea's human rights and placed the issue on the Council's agenda. At the recommendation of the Human Rights Council, the High Commissioner for Human Rights has established a field office to strengthen monitoring and documentation of human rights in the DPRK and to support the work of the Special Rapporteur on North Korea human rights. At the request of the High Commissioner's Office, South Korea has agreed to host this field office, and the office was officially opened in June. All of these activities over the past year and a half, the United States had played a leading role in gathering support and in putting pressure on North Korea. As I've participated in these activities at various UN bodies, two things have struck me. First, North Korea is feeling the international pressure for its human rights abuses. North Korean rhetoric decrying what it calls the human rights racket has become more frequent and more strident. After the Commission of Inquiry report was released, the North Koreans condemned the Commission and issued its own fictitious reports on human rights in the United States and South Korea. The North sent its foreign minister to the high-level session of the UN General Assembly in September 2014, the first time in 14 years that the North Korean foreign minister attended that session. He was there again this fall. I think this very clearly indicates the North Koreans are feeling the pressure, they're uncomfortable, and they're trying to push back. Second, with a growing number of countries condemning North Korea's human rights violations, the DPRK has few supporters left. The vote for the General Assembly resolution critical of the North and endorsing the Commission of Inquiry report was adopted by a vote of 116 countries in favor, 20 opposed, with 53 abstentions. Only a handful of countries supported the DPRK, and those countries were the who's who of the world's worst human rights violators. As I look back over what's taken place over the past year to focus attention on human rights abuses in North Korea, I'm reminded of the Commission of Inquiry Chair Michael Kirby's statement when he presented the Commission report. With the body of evidence detailing North Korean human rights atrocities that's now available, no country can honestly say we did not know. Mr. Chairman, I would like to add a couple of words about another critical issue related to human rights in North Korea. In the North, our effort to increase access to information, the DPRK, is one of the most important things that we are doing. In the North, it is illegal to own a radio that can be tuned. The only radio or television sets that are legal are those that are preset to state-controlled information channels. Despite this obstacle, the latest Broadcasting Board of Governors study of North Korean refugees and travelers found that 30% of North Koreans listen to foreign radio broadcasts inside North Korea. Foreign entertainment videos are watched by far larger numbers. 90% have seen South Korean dramas, soap operas, inside North Korea. According to published reports, over 2 million cell phones now permit North Koreans to communicate with each other on a domestic network. The system does not permit international telephone calls, but those cell phones do allow people to communicate quickly within the country. Given the closed nature of North Korean society, radio remains the most important effective means of sharing information with the outside world with the residents of North Korea. The United States is a strong supporter of independent broadcasting to North Korea. Thank you for the congressional support for Radio Free Asia, Voice of America, and other independent broadcasters. These efforts are vital in breaking down the information barriers that the government has placed on its own people. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity to appear today.